Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Friday Charge from the Geek podcast. Joel couldn't make it today, but I'm your host, Sebastian, and today, October 18th, 2024, we've got a handful of topics on the docket. So let's plug in and get started. Our first topic of the day is to once again talk about the Mustang Mach-e. This time, we're talking about the 2025 Mustang Mach-e, in which Ford has added some new features. So first off, and this is huge, all versions of a Mach-e now come with a heat pump. So if you live in a cooler climate, you should be celebrating. And even if you don't live in a cooler climate, still celebrate. This is great. Also, the Mach-e can now be had with Blue Cruise 1.5, which takes an already great system. Joel and I have both used it, and we were both super impressed by it. This adds the ability to do automatic lane changes, which is great. Now, it is important to note, Blue Cruise only works hands-free on pre-mapped highways. But, most interstate highways are going to be pre-mapped, and it works great on those that are. They've also added some new colors and appearance packages, which isn't huge, but they've also added some welcome changes to the interior. With first the option now you can get ventilated seats, which Joel and I, we recently drove a Mustang Mach-e and we did a video with it. Make sure you go watch that if you haven't already. We also recently did an interview with Mach-e Vlog, Patrick and Liv, and that one was also super fun. You can go check it out. And we both Patrick and Liv and Joel and I both thought the car really needed ventilated seats. So we're super pumped to see that now. Also, they've moved the shifter. You no longer have a weird dial in the center console, and now you have a column shifter, and by doing that, they have more storage kind of in the center console area. So all that's great stuff. Good changes, nothing major for 2025 other than the heat pump. But, it just kind of makes that package even better. Also for 2025, they've reduced the price. It now starts at $36,500, which is, I think, a $3,500 to $4,000 price change. So, that's pretty great. That puts it right underneath Model Y after tax credit, which the Mach-e doesn't qualify for tax credit, so technically it's a lot cheaper than the Model Y. But I think the base Model Y after tax credit's like $37,500 now. Speaking of Tesla, this week they have produced their 7 millionth car. So their 7 millionth vehicle rolled off the line from Fremont, California earlier this week. And the majority of those 7 million vehicles are Model Ys and 3s. And during Tesla's Q3 2024 earnings call, Elon was quick to point out that the majority of that 7 million are capable of autonomy. Now, it's important to note the word there is capable. Not that they are autonomous, just that maybe one day they will be. Elon also quoted during the earnings call that they are currently producing roughly 35,000 vehicles a week, which is a pretty decent number. Keeping this pace, Jim Farley loves his Chinese EV. So Jim Farley, CEO of Ford, on the Everything Electric podcast revealed that for the last 6 months, he's not been driving a Ford, but instead the Xiaomi SU7. So Xiaomi, you probably might have heard of as a smartphone manufacturer, started selling the SU7 for the 2024 model year. The SU7 is a full-size sedan with a starting price converted of around $30,000 US. Ford imported one of these into the States for testing to just try to see what is China doing with their EVs now. And Farley's been driving around the States, and he loves it. He has stated that he does not want to give it back. In a tweet/X post, Farley states that he tries to drive everything they compete against. You've got to get behind the wheel to truly understand and beat the competition, which is a pretty interesting, business take. It makes a lot of sense. Moving on. Arkansas may be sitting on 19 million tons of lithium. So the U.S. Geological Survey has released that southwest Arkansas could be home to between 5 to 19 million tons of lithium, or, just to put that in a different kind of frame of reference, enough to produce 9 times the amount needed for car batteries globally by 2030. The lithium is found in what's known as the Smackover Formation, which is a geologic area made up of permeable limestone that stretches across parts of Arkansas, Texas, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Florida. This formation is laced with a brine, and that brine is what contains the needed lithium. The Smackover Formation has previously and is currently used for oil and natural gas production. ExxonMobil has drilled some exploratory wells in the area and is one of many companies now trying to figure out how to extract the lithium in a cost-effective way. Last year, ExxonMobil purchased drilling rights to 120,000 acres within the Smackover Formation in Arkansas. So as a native Arkansan, I'm pretty pumped about this, that we actually maybe have a super critical mineral in our state. I'm pumped about what that's going to do for economy. I do have a little bit of concern as kind of like the environmental effects of this may be, but I'm hoping that they find a way to kind of get it in a way that isn't harmful in the long run. And our final topic for today is that the refreshed Porsche Taycan is the ultimate road tripper. So the 2025 Taycan, we already knew it was going to be a charging monster. We knew it was a charging monster. It has real-world speeds while charging, reaching 330 kilowatts, and it stays above 300 kilowatts until around 60%, which is unheard of. But now, thanks to the out-of-spec, we have some more real-world data to quantify kind of what that really means. So out-of-spec ran this vehicle on what they call a 10% challenge, which is a test where they start charging a vehicle at 10%, for exactly 15 minutes, then they immediately drive a loop at 80 miles per hour until the vehicle reaches 10% again. And the new Taycan set a record in this test, gaining 70.9 kilowatt hours of energy in 15 minutes, and then traveling 193 miles on that amount of juice. That's almost 2.5 hours of driving at 80 miles an hour from just one 15-minute charge. This is truly impressive. And just for a frame of reference, the second place vehicle in their test is the Lucid Air Grand Touring, which managed 155 miles in that same test. So a 40-mile difference between a Lucid Air and the Taycan. Like, it's truly impressive. This is really exciting to see where battery tech is going, and it will get even better from here. Well, y'all, that is a wrap for today's episode. Thanks again for plugging into the Friday Charge. Be sure to subscribe to the EV Geek podcast on YouTube and tap the notification icon to be notified about new releases. We have some great content that released this week, including the aforementioned interview with Patrick and Liv from Mach-e vlog, which was really fun. Super great people. Definitely go check that out. Go check their channel out. And then we have some more stuff that released this week as well. If you have any thoughts or questions, drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. So long, everyone, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Friday Charge.